Hey guys, this is Vol, and you're watching a commentary to do with a game called Dragon Age. Man, this game has been out for quite some time, and a new patch and sort of new expansion has just come out for it as well. The commentary I'm about to show you is from the original game. I played through this and clocked it quite a long time ago. I've just been meaning to get around to making a bit of a commentary about it, just to show you guys for a bit of fun. This is basically a role-playing game. It's not a game you play against other people. It's a single-player only game, and it's based around party action, as you can see here. Several of these characters are, playable characters that remain with you throughout the game, should you choose to keep them, of course. And what you're seeing here is a scene from earlier on in the game, and the character that's focused on right now is the main character that I get to customize myself. Now, what you're seeing here is another scene from further on in the game where I've got different party members, different armor and weapons and so forth. And just a bit of a look at the fighting scene. You can actually pause the game at any time to give your guys commands to heal them. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. I played through this game with the premium content added, basically stuff you have to pay to get added as well. But obviously I'm using a hacked copy with everything basically cheated, so not really to worry about that. Really just wanted to take a look at it. One of my friends had it, so that's where this has all come from. But yeah, quite decent graphics in this game. They've done a lot to create a decent atmosphere. The gameplay itself gets a little bit boring, unfortunately, but it does keep your interest up. A lot of people really like the storytelling in this game as well. Like what you're about to see here is just a little clip from the intro for one of the characters, I believe the mage. And yeah, I mean, you've got characters walking around looking fairly realistic, and you're allowed to choose, certain things to say during the dialogue. It's a bit like Mass Effect. I think Mass Effect was one of the earlier games to have that sort of situation where you sort of change the storyline a bit as to what you say to the characters, and you decide whether to be a real asshole or to be real kind to everybody, for example. And as you can see here, at the bottom you get little dialogue bits, if you guys caught that. Anyway, the scenery and so forth is quite good looking, as you can tell, from this little clip here. We've got a big dragon. Being called Dragon Age, of course, you'd expect there to be a few dragons in the game. This is not the actual final boss dragon, but one of the tougher sort of end-game monsters that you're meant to go and try and slay at some point. And as you can see, it's quite impressive, just waiting for me to come attack it. This other scene you're looking at here is basically just a look at the environment a bit more. It can get quite vast, and luckily I had a decent computer to be able to run it. But it's good that you can zoom around, get in amongst the characters. I kind of like this a little bit better than, for example, what do you call it? Elder Scrolls, the series like Morrowind and whatever the most recent one was called. Here you see a little bit of trap functionality, sorry, not trap, puzzle functionality. This was one of the only points in the game where there was a puzzle to figure out. A lot of sort of RPG games feature many of these little puzzles, but this game really only had this one, which really impressed me. Quite an interesting little mechanic to it. I won't tell you guys how to solve it, but I think you can already see what it involves just from looking at this. I mean, many of you guys will have either already played and clocked Dragon Age and know much more about it than I do, or you've never tried it before and you might like to give it a go. I'm not going to try and push you guys in any particular direction as to say whether to buy it or not. I'm just really showing you the video because I thought it was quite a pretty game to look at, and a fun sort of break from my usual real-time strategy game and commentaries. And yeah, you've got a lot of towns and so forth. There's a world map you can travel around. Here's another look at me actually fighting that dragon you saw earlier and getting my ass handed to me, basically because I wasn't really prepared for it, hadn't come up with a strategy or anything to beat it. Just thought I'd rush into combat with and see what actually happened. And man, getting pummeled left and right. So the game does require a little bit of intrigue in terms of the mechanics behind it. You do actually have to, plan for it a bit and collect items and build up to certain things rather than just making it easy for you the whole way through. There's me getting owned, my party destroyed. And you also do a lot of little side quests, much like Morrowind and so forth, and Elder Scrolls type material. This is one where I found a little thing in the forest and I've decided to complete a quest. And what you're looking at here is a point much further in the storyline towards the end, where I'm in the middle of a city and I'm trying to basically clear out the city and get to the final boss. And throughout the game I've completed a quest which allows me to have various allies alongside me. So I'm just calling in some help from the golems by the looks, which were in the dwarves side quest, if you guys know much about the game, which I thought was quite cool, getting them involved and feeling like there's a bit of continuity and a bit of storyline impacting the actual gameplay, and I quite like that rather than just watching these fancy movies and a lot of dialogue. I like for the gameplay, actual fighting to be integrated with whatever the actual background is supposed to be. I think that's quite cool. Like where you're actually playing, and a character shows up while you're actually in the combat zone, rather than I don't know whether you guys know what I'm talking about. Just ranting at this stage. But as you can see, quite a lot of fun action. It is quite interesting how you can pause the game, but also it is quite action-packed. It's very hack and slashy. It is quite gratifying a lot of the time once your character gets very powerful. But it does get samey as well after you've been playing for quite some time and everybody's doing the same thing for over and over. I basically played through this storyline mostly with just one combat character. That's usually my style in RPGs. I might, if I get around to it, go through the game with some of the other character types and play through them, like as a rogue or a wizard or whatever. You can specialize quite a lot by making traps and alchemy and having a range sort of guy or relying on stealth or whatever. But it's really more of a party game where you customize your party. You want to have certain guys fulfill certain roles. And I was quite impressed by the fact that you can actually eventually get maybe 8 or so different people to choose from amongst the possible characters that you can play. So that's quite cool. I played through most of it. If you guys know much about Dragon Age, with just the main, my main character was a warrior. I sided up with initially Alistair, but then I kicked him out of my party, and got Logain instead. I got what's his face, the dwarf. And as you can see here, this is actually a dwarf versus dwarf combat in the storyline for the beginning of basically the dwarf character. So I just had a look at what this was like. Basically, you go into this gladiatorial sort of combat arena to prove yourself to the Grey Wardens. So I had a bit of fun with that. But back to my story about which party members I was going to use. It also included that magic chick who basically comes as a healer. I forget her name, Wynn I think it was. And finally, here's me taking on the final boss. This is the Archdemon, also in the form of a dragon. And it turned out to be a bit of an easier boss than I thought, but I didn't really want to get stuck on the final boss, after playing through the game so sloppily and not really customizing my characters very efficiently or whatever. So it was a bit of a relief to be able to kill this guy fairly promptly. But yeah, there were a few points in the game where I got stuck. Here's a bit of a explanation of how the pause thing works. At the moment, the game is paused, and it allows me to sort of drink potions and then unpause, and the guys actually just automatically drink them. So that really saved me a lot of hassle. As you can see, I've got some allies here with the blue rings around them. Those are basically elves, which I've summoned here to help me fight against the last boss. You've got a choice of 5 different groups of guys, but I took the elves because they've got bows, and I figured my party was generally a very melee-oriented party with essentially 3 characters which fight in close combat and 1 character to heal them basically throughout the entire time. I actually turned the healer into an arcane warrior, allowing him to sort of be a hybrid between healing and fighting. So very direct. I didn't really want to mess around very much. I just wanted to steamroll my way through the game and see what it was like. If I did go through this game a second time, mind you, I would definitely try to use a bit more finesse and stealth, and try out some of the more subtle ways and tactics of completing it. But look, that's essentially it. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at Dragon Age. If your friend lends you a copy, I recommend trying it out if you're into RPG games. If you're not, a huge RPG fanatic, I wouldn't recommend going out and buying it. It does get a bit samey and boring, but I don't know. I mean, if you like what you saw here, then feel free to check it out.